Well, who do we have to blame for no sound there? Now, do y'all got me? All right. I apologize for no sound. Yes, sir. Let's start over now. Who day, Bengals fans? All right. I apologize for that. That was a technical issue on my end. I apologize. I will take full credit on that one right there because as a coach, I like accountability, and I will be accountable for that one. So, anyway, back here. Hey, we're going. Listen, I want to give a shout out to everybody in Cincinnati for putting up the stripe out thing at Paycor. I mean, that thing was amazing to see on TV. Would love to have been there. I would love to have been a part of everything there. But, again, it's a Cincinnati is a sleeping giant. What I was saying earlier is I was texting with some of the coaches that are there, and they said, you wouldn't believe what Cincinnati has become. And I said, well, I mean, it's not a knock on Cincinnati. It's just the fact that it finally the city is awakening. And I think anybody that knows me understands my heart is there. They embraced me for 9 years. I was there for 9 years, and I embraced it. And I think our family, 2 of my 3 kids were born there. And, it's home in a way. And it's cool to see you guys having such a cool thing that's happening right now. And did the offense come alive? Yes, the offense has come alive. Has the defense stayed in what they're doing? Yeah, and it's pretty cool to see both sides of the ball coming together. So, if you look at what happened here, so obviously the Bengals beat the Bills. That's going to help with playoff seeding. That's going to help with all the different things that are going to happen with what's going on within the AFC. And sorry, I'm looking at all my messages telling me that y'all can't hear me. Well, cool thing, y'all can hear me now, so we're good. But the Bengals got on top of the Bills early, and obviously it's one of those things, man. I mean, you'd like to see the Bengals score more points in the second half, and is that an issue? Sure, and they'll address that. But also they've addressed a lot of issues too. Something showed up this week. Does anybody in the chat know what showed up this week that has not shown up all year long? That was a staple of this Bengals offense, maybe for the past 2 or 3 years. And even when I was there was a few people. Correct. I see Sir Wonderboy right now. Drew Sample in open space. The tight ends showed up. The tight ends had 10 catches, 101 yards on 13 targets and 2 touchdowns. Now, was that by design? I don't know. But I will say this. I think that they're trying to get them involved because the more the tight end is involved in the offense, the more the defenses have to respect it. The more that they can't just go double up on everybody else that's out there. So they can't double Chase and Huggins and everybody else that's out there. Boyd, they can't do that. They can't just load up the box for the run for Mixon because all of a sudden your tight end has become a threat. So good for the Bengals of getting that going. So as we start talking about the offense, there are some things I'm going to move into here. And, I think I heard a question the other day. It said, how many Bengals fans would actually know that Tanner Hudson was on their roster? And, it's an interesting question because obviously Irv Smith, Drew Sample, everybody knows about them. They're both second-round picks. Irv Smith was not with the Bengals. Drew Sample was for the pick, but how many people knew Tanner Hudson was on the roster? And that's pretty cool. So we're going to start here by looking at the offense, and I wanted to make sure the scoreboard shot got thrown up here because obviously you can see the orange over here. It's kind of striped down there the way it's going, and that was really really cool by you guys. That anybody that was at the game, that's really cool that y'all got that pulled off, and to see that on national television, I think it shows the nation that Cincinnati is bought into a lot of what you guys are doing, especially as fans. And now starting here, so Bengals, they have tight ends. You can see it at the bottom. What does this mean? I mean, it means they got some tight ends. Now I want you to watch what they're doing here. So they got a guy named Jamar Chase. I think everybody knows who Jamar Chase is. Cool. Jamar Chase is going to step back like he's getting a screen thrown to him, and these guys are blocking for him, which is a good play. Don't get me wrong. That's a really good play. And again, if you look at this is 1st and 10 when they're doing this, because I want to point that out because the next play is going to be a little different. So they fake to Joe, and they turn back, and they're going to throw a little step back here to Chase. No, they're not. They're doing a little screen and go, and here's your man Tanner Hudson, bam, catching that ball right there. Again, that's a first down. That's a big catch. Again, when you can use your tight ends like this, because that guy demands so many eyes and so many bodies to stop him, you can make a lot of things happen. But that was pretty cool. So again, it's a screen and go, and you can see here that, how many times have they thrown that screen? I'm not 100% sure, but apparently they've done it enough to, show what they're doing. And again, I want you to watch this too. This is kind of cool. Watch when the Bengals are breaking the huddle. Look at the Bills. The Bills are still okay. Well, we gotta get set. We gotta get set. They're still not set. They finally get set. Excuse me. And it's like, oh yeah, hey, I'm just gonna drop it off to my man over there. All right, going to the next play. Now, I want to point this out. 3rd and 1. Now, some of y'all were probably wondering that it was a 3rd and 1. I think there was a 4th and 1 that they threw on. And people are probably like, why are they throwing on 3rd and 1 when you've got Joe Mixon back here? And believe it or not, those guys right there are actually doing their job pretty well right now. So it's a they should allow those guys to eat. Now, same exact thing. Now, this is later in the game. Look what they did. 3rd and 1. Oh, same play, same guy, same spot. I will give kudos to Zach Taylor, Brian Callahan, anybody that was involved in the play calling to call the same play twice in a game, especially a trick play, if you want to call it. It's not really a trick play, but it's kind of a deceptive play, if you want to call it that. And for them to call that twice, there was a lot to that. So, and again, that's the second of the tight ends. Now, getting into the tight end touchdowns. Now, they started down here, and you see they moved Joe Mixon out. And you see how everybody kind of moves out, and everybody kind of moves out and moves out. This is more of a kind of a zero double hole, if you want to call it that. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. You kind of have you have 3/2 here. You got a whole guy here, and your man on everybody else. And it's kind of like these two guys are taking care of anything that enters that area right there. These two guys are really manned up on them, but you can see their outside leverage on them. So if they're going to run anything that's out breaking at all, they're not going to get there. If they run anything that's in breaking, you've got a bunch of guys inside taking away those routes. Now, the problem with that is you've got one-on-one over here. Now, you've got one-on-one with Irv Smith. The stem he takes, and when I say a stem, it's the release he takes. You see the release? He's running a corner route, but it's more of the stayed inside and he kind of bent it and then he went to the corner. There's a big difference between doing that and right there, bam. Look at all the room he's got. When he goes up for this ball, he's got all that room to come down with it. And again, that's a well-designed play because, look, these two guys consume those two guys. And Jordan Poyer right here, who's going to be a part of this here in just a minute, where I'm going to show you some things where he gets burnt. Now, can anybody do that dance? Come on now. I mean, I'm rewinding it and fast forwarding, but oh, there we go. Look at Huggins. I mean, Boyd's like, hey man, finally got a tight end in the end zone. That's what I'm talking about. This little lady up here, the security lady. I think it's a lady. Oh, it's not a dude. Never mind. He's just got fur on him. Sorry. But you can see right there. I mean, they're having some fun. Anyway, but point being is when you set it up to say, I've got all these other weapons, and I'm going to throw it to the one guy they don't think is going to catch the ball, and he comes down with it. And there you go. I mean, the orange section up here is having some fun. Now, the second tight end touchdown, this one's kind of interesting because really, in all reality, they're running like an over route and they're running like a deep dagger route, like a deep end. In all reality, these guys are blocking and going to the flat. He's blocking and going to the flat, and I think he's just running off here. And you'll see here, this is inside, kind of, you're in a section of the field where defensive coordinators are saying, okay, let's say we can get a sack and we can knock him back to here. We can knock the field goal back a little bit. And again, this right here, this was a what was the down and distance on this one? This was 3rd and 7. So you're talking about a 3rd and 7. So they're saying, okay, if we can knock them back to the 30, okay, that makes McPherson have to kick, a 48-yarder. And there's a difference but right here, that's the reason they're in this max protection look. And I say max protection because you got 5 blockers here and you add 2 blockers to them. And that's a max. Max protection is 7 blockers plus. Like you could go 8 blockers. You could technically go 9 blockers. But when you have 7 blockers, you're saying we're in max protection. The thing is Drew Sample's actually blocking Micah Hyde here. I think this is Joe. Joe doesn't have anybody blocked, so he's able to get out. And when this happens right here, because right here you got what they call a 5-0. So those 5 are on those 5. Or I'm sorry, Travion Williams is on 21, 89's on 23. And what happens is when you're in a man-style coverage, when you think this guy's blocking, you're going to add on because you think he's blocking, and you can add on because really you're in coverage on 89, 23 is. 23 is in coverage on 89. Well, Drew Sample goes, well, 23 is not blitzing anymore. I'm just going to leak out over here. Well, 23 kept on moving, and next thing you know, that's why he's so wide open because actually 23 is covering him, and that's where that came from. Now, here's where, if you're a Bengals fan, you should be excited. Drew Sample, your second-round pick from a couple years ago or whenever it was, has 2 of the Buffalo Bills here who – everybody thinks the Buffalo Bills are one of the greatest teams ever. He leaps, my man, and gets in for a touchdown. So, there you go. So, now that we've talked about the tight ends, now let's talk about what Burrow is doing in space. Okay, so, and when I'm saying in space, I'm talking about Burrow's actually getting out into these areas over here, and he's allowing himself to become a running threat, which in turn causes a predicament for a coverage player, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So, right here, they're getting set. He's in his now. Burrow's gonna escape right here. He almost gets tripped up right here. He almost gets tripped up. Now, here's the issue. This guy right here actually has this area right here. It's called zone coverage. This guy right here has this area. This guy technically has like the middle area. But this guy right here has that area right here. Now, the other thing he has to understand is this. He's also, when he breaks contain because the D lineman didn't keep him in the pocket, he's got a decision to make. Do I run up and try to tackle the quarterback, or do I stay back and protect this area back here? Well, you can see right there, Jordan Poyer is in a situation right there where he's, kind of in no man's land. So pick your poison right here. So you pick your poison and you say, well, I'm going to go make sure Joe Burrow doesn't run the ball. Well, there's T. Higgins sitting right back there. And again, remember this, he had that area right there. That's the area that that's a zone he's responsible for. So when that happens, that's what happens when you have a quarterback that can, bring a threat of a run. Now, again, if you watch and again, we'll talk about this later on, but with different rush lanes, but they're blitzing a guy here. Well, he's blitzing, so his job is to basically make him go back up in there. Well, that's what he does. Now, the problem is everybody else that's blitzing here right here kind of blitz themselves out of that whole area right there. And you can see now, again, there's your predicament. Does he cover his zone back here, or does he take care of this runner right here? And he kind of decided, I'm going to step up. He stepped up just enough. And that's what got T. Higgins so open right there. Now, if you look here, this is a full cell toss, like a full cell. When I'm saying a full cell, I want you to watch the entire team is kind of going over here. I believe he ends up coming across, but like the entire team is going this way. I want you to watch when they do this. When he turns and fakes the toss to Mixon right here, I want you to watch this entire area right here go that direction. Well, what happens is then you bring this little over route right here, and you have a comeback. It's called a naked, obviously. But he's going to fake it, and he's going to naked out around here. But I want you to watch the entire group right here take off that direction. And that's a credit to the cell of, I mean, look at it. The entire group is looking that direction. This guy's like, oh, crap, I see him starting to leak out. And he tries to come back, and, he tries to come back, but it's too late now. Now you can throw this ball right here. And again, it's a 9-10 yard gain, but is that a big gain? Sure. No, it's not. But again, it's one of those things where you've made it look now with a 2-back set. I know it's a tight end. I get that's a tight end, but he's in a fullback. Everybody wants to talk about, fullbacks, tailbacks, whatever, H, it could be an H, halfback, but, fullback and a halfback. But the second that happens and the entire line's going that way, watch this group right here. I mean, that's something right there. I mean, again, it's not a big deal, but it is over time, because that right there shows the Buffalo Bills are respecting the run. They're not just saying this group of O-linemen is what they are. Now, this is I do want you to watch. This is a scramble, but I want you to watch this man up here. Everybody knows who T. Higgins is, but it's the energy, it's the effort, it's everything that happens when he drops back and he decides to scramble in this direction. He's running a route like this over on this side. I want you to watch T. Higgins, though, the energy and effort he gets to get all the way over here. He catches this ball and almost scores, and he's doing this from over here on a scramble drill. And this is where, if you're a young receiver, if you're a young football player, you can see right here, he's actually trying to throw that ball to him, but he just doesn't feel like he can get it off. So as Joe Burrow scrambles over here, your job as the backside receiver now is one of two things. If you're low, you kind of stay low and you kind of run across, because you see right here, you've already got guys here, and they'll stay over here. He'll find his way over here. He'll push back here, whatever the case is. But right here, watch T. Higgins just keep moving, and he almost gets a touchdown. And again, this is watch Burrow's eyes right here. Burrow's actually trying to initially. He comes back to him like he was trying to throw. He was thinking about throwing that ball to him, but look at the effort that T. Higgins gives right there. I mean, that if you're a young player that's watching this, if you're a wannabe 40-year-old that's playing in some flag football league on the side or something like that, I mean, if you can give this kind of effort, and again, T. Higgins is a great athlete, but that's nothing but effort and energy that actually got him over there and got him open. And if you look here, like Joe Mixon knows to push up. He knows to push up. He knows right now. He sees T. Higgins coming over there, so Joe knows to push up. I can't tell who this is right here. Is that Boyd in the back of the end zone? But anyway, whoever this is right here in the back of the end zone knows, stay back here. He's pushing to here because he's coming across here. They all know it. So apparently, you can tell right there. Again, that's hold on now. Is that a tight end? I don't mean to be getting all excited about tight ends right now, but that they are seeming to show up. Now, pass protection. All right, so I want to talk about running back fundamentals here, and I'm going to go to the end zone. Now, I'm not beating up on Travion Williams at all. I just want to talk about it because I'm a former running back coach, and I just want to talk some ball here. Okay, so this is just me. I got a couple plays here from this game where I just want to talk football. Now, as this is setting, you could tell right now he's setting here. This is called a 5-0 or a big on big poker. You can call it whatever you want, but it's those 5 guys have the 5 big guys right there. And what that does is that puts your back on pretty much everybody else, but it puts them on that guy in particular. And what teams will do is they'll run, blitzes like this where I'm just like at home. He's actually over here. They'll run some sort of blitz here and saying, okay, we're going to take him in here and he's covering this guy. Technically he's covering him, but he's going to blitz. And if 32 were to leave, then he would cover him. If he stays inside, then he's blitzing and he's got to block him. So with that being said, Travion's got to get his head and his body. He's got to get that booty of his right there. And this is going to sound really weird, and I'm just going to go ahead and say it. And this is one of those things that as a coach, you got to find ways to, visualize what you're trying to do. If you had a video camera stuck right there in your butt crack, that video camera better be videoing the quarterback if you're in protection, and that's for anybody. Because if you look at 65 right there, if he has one, perfect. He has one, perfect. He has one, perfect. Maybe not so much, but he's kind of getting there. Right there, perfect. Boom. They're all these guys. Their butt cameras are facing the quarterback. So, with that being said, is Travion Williams' butt camera right now facing the quarterback? No, it's not. So right now you got to get your butt and your whole body in front of this man and take the inside away. Why the inside? Why do people always say take the inside away? Well, if he goes around here, it's a longer path. It's all geometry. Go back to your University of Cincinnati degree for whoever's listening, or Xavier, or in my case, Texas A&M. And you learned about, the straightest or the quickest way between 2 points is a straight line. Well, there's your straight line. Make him go this way. The problem is when you do this, when you hit him like that, that line is a lot shorter than that line. And that's all I'm saying is get your butt in front of him right there and get your head on that shoulder pad. And not on and see how your butt's turned. Now the camera's not facing the quarterback. So just make sure the camera's facing the quarterback. But again, that heck of a job of Joe Burrow getting out of the way there. But again, that's on Travion Williams. But I just want to point out, I'm not beating up on Travion Williams because I know he knows that he's a good player and he's coached well. But that's one of those things where, that play might have been saved. Who knows? I mean, I don't know if he would have ended up throwing here or whatever the case is. I don't know what their reads were on that play, but just a little nugget for me. Now, this is a sack here, but I just want to point this out. Why did they run him out and run him back in? That's a big question. People are like, why? That looks stupid. Well, why did they just do that? Well, did he call him back in? No. All they're doing here is they're saying if somebody runs out with him, what is that? They got a guy running out with him. They don't want him to go out here. They want him to be right here. They want him to come out and come back in. But that 25 ran out and ran back in, well, guess what? There's some form of man coverage being played right now, even though he's in a mug look. So when you play teams that mug linebackers and you run a back out, if the mug guy runs out or one of the mug guys runs out, you've got man coverage. So right now they know they got a form of man coverage. And again, this guy's playing down in here. He's playing like a thief. He's got him. 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 Now, that they knew that by doing this stupid little yo-yo motion. And again, I think it's great. I love the fact that they're doing that. But again, why do you want to know that? You want to know that you want to know it's man because when you have man coverage, it kind of tells you that you have certain routes are going to come open. And right now, he probably had this guy. Now I want you to watch I do want you to watch Trenton Irwin right here. And he doesn't get enough credit for being the receiver he is, but he's going to kind of run, he's going to take like a small step here, and he's going to come sit right here. That small step he takes right here, watch what it does right here to Micah Hyde. I mean, it's just, and again, that's the NFL. That's the NFL. It's that little step right there. It was that step that made him turn his hips and go outside like that. And again, he's playing outside leverage because he knows he's got inside help. But the fact that one little step made him turn his pads all the way around, it is what it is. Now, if you watch what's happened here with the sack, the left side here just kind of gets, and again, man, I mean, you're playing NFL players on a weekly basis, but there's a TE, and this is Von Miller, okay, and I get it. Now, what's going to happen is, you see how they push him back? Now, I want you to keep this in mind, because when we get to the Bengals defense here in a little while, I want you to watch. They're trying to penetrate this guy to bring him back underneath. I want you to watch how Orlando Brown steps back in to take this guy over. And keep this in mind, okay, because I'm talking about later in the show, okay, later in the show, because the Bengals had like four of them that they ran him out here. And this guy comes over here and starts spinning around. They can't pick this up. Whereas I want you to how he steps back in, and then he steps in to actually take over Von Miller. That's really, really good, okay? At the NFL level, that is high-level protection. Now, he doesn't throw the ball. Burrow doesn't. And, yeah, he gets sacked here. But point being is this. I mean, that is – and I think they called him for holding, which I think is a you know, my man right here, he also called a intentional grounding on the other team, which I'll get to in a little while. Come on, guys. Y'all got to be more consistent than that. Good thing I don't work for the NFL right now, right? All right, now pass game efficiency. Let's talk about this. I want you to watch the protection, number one. I want you to watch the overall protection. Joe Mixon's on his guy. I mean, look at the protection right there. That is as good a protection as you're going to get. Now, this is a 9-stop by Huggins, and I'm making this. I just want to make this point too. And again, I just talked about the intentional grounding. He has the ability to stop this if this guy plays deeper than he is, and he can stop. If this guy down here decided that he wanted to stop here, he could actually keep on going. Why is that important? Because if Joe Burrow thought right here for some reason, just say, because you see how he's over the top of him, so he stayed deeper than he is. That's why he's stopping right there. Now, if his body would have been right here, he would have kept on going. And it's a read. It's a, you know, a lot of people call it different things, snap routes, call them all kinds of things. But point being is this, like that's not much different than what was called intentional grounding when Josh Allen decided to throw it and it landed over here. And, you know, I just wanted to point out that it's not just the Bills that throw that pass. That is a across the league. That's across high school, college. It's across all leagues. All right. The UFL now. But again, I just want you to watch the protection here, though. The protection is top notch right here. I know Joe's not getting much of a rush here. Joe Mixon's not, but I mean, he's on his guy. I mean, that's a damn good pocket right there. And you know there's some pretty good rushers out there. You know, on Buffalo's side, on Buffalo's D line. So the fact that they're getting that done is pretty good. Now this is a spot route. So this is I believe this is 4th and 1 if I'm not mistaken right here. 4th and 1. All right. Why are we throwing on 4th and 1? All we got to do is get to that 35-yard line right there. You got a big back right here. You got some good blockers. Why not just run it up in there? Now, I want you to watch what they're going to do. They're going to end up playing cover 2. So they're going to be here. They're going to be here, 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 and here. Well, I'm just going to point this out. There are voids right there. There's a void right there. There's a void deep right there. There's a void right around there, and there's a void right in there. Well, what they're going to do is they're going to run Jamar Chase right into that void and run him out because it's going to pull him out of there just enough. So you got to catch it right inside of this guy pushing there and that guy pushing there, and there's your void. And this is what happens when you're playing cover 2 right here. Bam. See it? That's all it is. And again, he gets blasted off the line right here. Bam, get him the ball right there in that void. And the fact that Joe Mixon's running out, it pulls that guy out just enough to do it. So, Colton, man, good to see you, man. I got to keep up with the chat better here, but I just saw that. So things going well on my end, brother. I'm just like sitting here talking ball. It's what I do. And but again, you can see like if this were to be man coverage, they would have thrown it to Joe, and this route right here. If this would have been man coverage, this route would have picked off this guy. He would have thrown it to Joe Mixon. He would have got the first down. Instead, they play cover 2. The void's there. Bam. And you see how quickly Joe Burrow's got to see this? All right, I got to see it. Boom. Got it. Could he have thrown it to this guy? Sure. But, again, that's a big play right there, 4th and 1. Obviously, if they wouldn't have gotten it, I think everybody would be questioning, why are you passing the ball when you could be running the ball? Now, if you look here, these are the little things that a lot of people don't see. And you start out right here in a 3-by-1. So when I say 3-by-1, there's a receiver. Don't worry about those guys. 3-by-1. So you got 3-by-1. Well, when you're 3-by-1, a lot of times you'll have a safety down, and if you're blitzing somebody, you're going to play some version of cover 3. Now, watch what happens when you motion him. All these guys start moving around. Now you're in a 2-by-2. Now you have 2 right here by 2. It does cause now a lot of times when teams go 2-by-2 and they blitz, they end up playing what's called palms or 4 fire zone. So these guys will come back here. So you'll have 4 deep here, but you're only going to have 2 under. You're only going to have 2 underneath guys under here. I guess, hold on. It looks like Von Miller's dropping here. So there, you're 2 underneath here. So there's your 2 underneath, but there's your 4 deep and there's your 2 underneath. This is called a fire zone. That means you only have 6 guys in coverage. Usually you have 7. They're blitzing 5 guys. Well, here's the thing. When you run this, if this guy runs out here, this guy, Von Miller, not only has to cover like this area, he's also actually he's got to cover that flat area over there, but he's working in tandem with this corner. Well, when Jamar Chase comes out, this guy either got to make a decision. I've got to take him back here, depending on the route combination, and this guy's got to play over the top, and which is probably what they should have done. He should have played over the top. Boyd comes here, he takes Boyd. Well, they didn't do that, and quick enough, and Boyd comes out here. Now Burrow decided to take the ball to Chase right here. He could have easily have thrown it to Boyd right here and had it there, but again, it goes back to pass pro pickup. Let's go back to this pass pro pickup. So they're going to bring here, and they're going to bring another guy here, and I believe another guy's coming here. So that's really good by Travion Williams to pick that guy up. But again, that's well done by Burrow. And if you watch right here, I think you can see right here, this is one of those ones I think he was yelling right here. He was yelling, I don't even remember the word, lucky or something. There was a word he was yelling to tell them, hey, we're turning the protection this way. Don't worry about this guy. We're going to turn the protection over to these guys, and you come here. So there's ways of doing that. And again, it's pretty cool to see. Casey said, I think it's lucky, coach. I think it was lucky, but there was a word they were using, and the words and the thing with protections. Once you get really good with protections, you can just use one word and it turns the whole line. And it's pretty cool to see that happen. I apologize. I've been fighting a little cold here recently. Sorry about that, guys. It's even down in Louisiana, we kind of, catch all the dirtiness around here. Kind of catches up to you every once in a while. Now the last one here is a slant versus one hole. So they're playing man coverage, and what you're going to see here is you see this guy right here. He's going to play like what's called a hole. Like he's looking for crossers. All these guys can funnel their guy inside to him if they want to. Now here's what happens is when you run this out route, he's got to go out. And you can see right here he's playing the outside leverage, knowing he's got inside help. But watch how when Huggins runs in here, watch how quickly Burrow gets rid of this ball and boom. I mean, there's not a whole lot of room in there. If you see it from the end zone right here, you're talking about trusting your guy. Now, the one thing that Huggins does, and I'll go back to the sideline, I want you to watch what he does. When he catches this ball, he could keep moving in here and just get blown up by Poyer right here. When he catches this ball right here, watch the ability to go that direction. Now watch it from this angle when he catches the ball. Like he catches that ball and there's a yard, 2 yards in between them. Boom. I mean, he's like gone. And it's the ability to the explosive ability to do those kind of things. And then, I mean, obviously when you do these kind of things, Houday, the mascot, gets all excited up here too. So, he wanted a touchdown, man. He's like, give me the touchdown. So, but I thought that was pretty cool by Huggins and also by Burrow, of just understanding the coverage that they were getting. When you know you're getting that hole coverage, you got to catch it and you got to go. If you're catching a slant and you're running into hole coverage, you got to know there's somebody in there, and you catch that thing and you get vertical. You go north and south. You go towards the end zone as quick as you can so as you don't get blown up. Run game efficiency. I just want you to watch the right here. Just again, I pointed out one last week of the line, and just look at the line covering everybody up. Now, the way they're blocking this, again, this is duo. Now, this guy right here is not blocked. Okay, now this is Travion Williams. But I want you to look. Everybody else is blocked. There's a pretty good-sized hole to run through right here, and I'll show you some of the end zone. But I want you to watch what my man Travion Williams, who, by the way, is a fighting Texas Aggie. Boom! I mean, come on, man. Again, this is Teron Johnson right here. I think he's a six-year safety. And boom! There we go. And watch this from the back. I went most of the plays. If you've noticed, if you haven't noticed, I'm gonna go ahead and point it out. Most of the plays I pull from the offenses, from the back of the offense, because I'm an offensive coach. All right, and I'm not apologizing for that. I'm just telling you that's why I do it. But I wanted you to see this from the backside of the defense. Here comes 7 in here, and I want you to just watch. He just runs him flat over. Bam. And that's an unblocked safety. I mean, that's designed that way, to have an unblocked safety, and that's okay. Now, what makes you know? I'm just going to throw this out there. It's a little bit more football, just 101 here. But what would make you think that my man number 7, who's hanging out over here, probably has some sort of run fit right here? Well, look, you got 2 guys stacked over here, and then you got nobody stacked over these 2 guys. So this is one of those things. In one of these days, I'll find a play where I can talk about it, but you block the void. And when I say there's a void, there's an obvious void in the front right here. Like, you got these guys bossed over, and when you say bossed over, they're on this side of the center, and there's nobody here. Somebody's got to take that area right there. And if you look at it from right here, it could be one of the 2 things. It could be this guy that comes down in there. It could be this guy that comes down in there. But somebody's got to take. They're not just voiding that area right there. They're not just voiding the white part of the B right there for no reason. So that's why right here, when he motions over, 43 knows right now 7's actually playing this area right here. But again, that could be we can get into a whole thing, because there are some blocking schemes where you say, listen, we're going to pretend like there's a guy standing right here, because we know by the time we snap the ball, there will be a guy standing right there. So it's called blocking the void. So if you ever hear blocking the void, that's what that means. All right, now this play right here, this is a Miami Dolphins staple, okay? And I love this play. I absolutely love this play. And it's I can't remember what the Dolphins call it. If I did, I wouldn't tell you, because I got friends on that staff. but it's an inside zone right here where really he's blocking, but you've got a guy going in jet motion, and he's going to run what I call a rail. It's like a go route. This guy right here is going to run kind of like a little short seam route where he's looking for the ball like right here. The tight end's going to come flying across to the flat. Now, on this one, the tight end kind of gets knocked off right here. But you're running inside zone. Everybody here is running inside zone. The quarterback can read this guy to pull and run. The quarterback can also, when he goes running across, can read if anything happens, if they motion across, whatever it is, to see if there's a throw available, whether it's that throw, whether it's the flat going across. But anyway, there's the Dolphins and the 49ers are masters at this play. So if you're ever watching a Dolphins or 49ers game, but you can see right here, so Von Miller goes down, so he says, you know what, I'm going to pull it. Well, why did he throw it? Why do you think he wants to throw it to T. Higgins? Because I want you to watch pre-snap. Who runs with T. Higgins? Who adjusts with T. Higgins? Absolutely nobody. So he knows T. Higgins is running this little go route on the outside, and he says, screw that, boom, I'm just going to give it to you. He could, again, he could throw it here. So, like, if somebody, let's say this guy ran out with T. Higgins and he did this, he could easily throw it right there. It's a play where you've got a run, a pull, you've got that read, you got that read, and you got that read. There's about 5 different things you can do on this play. And I think it's pretty cool that the Bengals have incorporated it. This is the first time I've seen them run it. Doesn't mean they haven't run it. The first time I've noticed it and them running it. But again, that's one of those plays. I mean, if you give a halfway decent quarterback, okay, and again, I've coached high school ball, and this play has been in. And I'm telling you, you give a high school quarterback those options, it's a tough play to stop. You give Joe Burrow those options, and again, have they run that play more than that? Maybe. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look, but I think that's a pretty cool addition to what they're doing. Again, the Miami Dolphins and the 49ers have run this play so many times, and it's really a good addition to it. But again, if nobody, absolutely zero person adjusts to T. Higgins right here when he's running that fast, just throw him the ball, man, just like he did. So, again, good play. Now, I got this called Jodine. All right. I didn't even, my man Mixon. And I just wanted to make sure everybody understands. People want to give Joe Mixon this whole thing about he can't pass protect. He can't pass protect. Here's a safety running full speed down here. I want you to watch my man Mixon. I've known for years this kid can do this. Has he done it all the time? No. But I'm going to tell you, when the kid wants to do it, watch what he does here. You got a blitz and safety. He gets on him, stops him. Now watch what he does to him. Get down, boy. He is like, he's not messing with people. He's going to take you to the ground. He's going to say, listen, I beat you. Now, listen, I could dump you right here, but I'm probably going to get called for holding. But, he dumps him anyway. Right there. And, again, I'm kind of shocked my man right here who called intentional grounding on Josh Allen didn't call that for holding. But, if you want to talk about Joe Mixon right here and what he can do for this team, trust in this man that he can do the job. And again, I'm not trying to be that guy. Yes, I was part of drafting Joe Mixon, but I've seen what he can do. I'm not speaking something I don't know about, okay? I'm not just some guy over here saying he can do this. Oh, man, look at this. Look at what he can do. No. I've seen it. I've watched it. I've helped develop part of it, I'd like to say. But this is the second play of the game. So the first play of the game, they actually motioned him out and ran him out here, and they threw him the ball. Second play of the game, this is a screen. So they're doing a play action, like an inside zone play action. And then they're getting the ball, and here comes your 2 blockers out here. And the cool thing I liked about this was the fact that they said, you know what, the first 2 plays of the game, we're going to get Mixon going. We're going to get him going. We're going to take the attention away from everybody else and allow him to do that. And it also got the line out in space. And everybody talks about how bad a screen team these guys are. But watch right here. So he comes here. So he thinks now, okay, it's not a run. I'm going to back out of here. Well, when he does that, now you got a lineman running full speed at you. Now here, if he could get over and just get on this guy on the front side right here. Now, when you're catching a screen, so if you're on this hash right here, if you're on the right hash and you catch a screen as a tailback, your sidewalk is really in the alley, which is in between the hash and the numbers, which are out there. So there's like just pretend there's like a sidewalk right in between there. So you see how he kicks this guy out? There's like, if you think about that sidewalk, he's going to try to run up this sidewalk. He needs to get his head on the outside and push him past that sidewalk, and then Joe could turn up that sidewalk, but he just didn't feel like he could get it there. But, again, that's a screen deal. This was a touchdown. Now, this is not just on Joe Mixon, but I do want you to watch from the sideline view. He's going to hit it kind of backside right here, and I want you to watch the lack of hesitation, the acceleration, low pads, and you're not stopping a 235-pound or 230-pound Joe Mixon when he can get that much of a running start from the 2-yard line right here. And again, but I want you to watch this from the backside, because here, Micah Hyde's not blocked, okay? Micah Hyde's not blocked. This guy is technically blocked. But if you watch, I want you to watch. I'm going to try to pause it right here. You see how the hips of these guys are right together? You see how there is no space right there? Their whole job is to take 600 pounds. So there's 600 pounds right here. Just say maybe more than that. But just say these are 300, 300, 300, and 300. You got 600 on their 300. Our 600 up front should take their 300 for a ride right here. And now these two guys are blocking to him. These two guys are blocking to him. The big block is 87 over here on excuse me, right over here is really on the defensive end, whoever that is right there. But again, Hudson's got to get, he's got to get his head inside right here and just kind of right there. He just does enough. That's enough. That's enough. And again, you've got these guys driving. Look at that. So point being, I think the duo play, and man, I mean, the energy you're going to get from just running the ball in from the 2-yard line. And again, yeah, that guy falls off. But I mean, I would rather those two guys take, if they're blocking him to him, I would rather them take that big dude into the end zone and let the running back have to take that guy on any time of day. So now the last couple here I got, these are 4-minute plays. And when I say 4 minutes, fourth quarter, it's under 4 minutes. Okay. Buffalo has no timeouts here. And all you got to do is now it's a pace of, you got to get first down so that you can kneel it. They can't stop the clock except for the 2-minute warning. And this is called 13 personnel. And when I'm saying 13, you got one back, and you have 3 tight ends. Now, what I'm going to call this is I'm actually going to call this Big 13, because that tight end right there is actually an offensive lineman. So you have an extra offensive lineman, and you got 2 tight ends right here. So you got a lot of dudes. Accounted for people. He's accounted for. Those guys are all accounted for in the blocking. That guy is not accounted for because, say, he's got the quarterback. And that guy is not accounted for because he's, say, the running back. So you talk about, you have 9, or I guess 8 out of, because you got 1, 2, 3. And you got 1, 2, 3. But you got your other 8 guys blocking those 8 guys. Joe Mixon has to do one thing when he pulls in here. He's got to make that guy miss. And if you watch this from the end zone, actually, I'll show it to you from the sideline, because watch what he does on this. When he gets past this, he's going to step down in here. They're going to wash everything down. He's going to make the bounce. He's going to make this guy miss. And then watch, he actually pushes forward for another probably 4 yards. And that's all you're looking for in 4 minutes, that and hold on to the ball, obviously. But you can see right here, I mean, he makes that one guy this guy is unblocked. 100% that guy is unblocked, and you got to deal with it. And then the last play here that I got for the offense, if you remember the game against the 49ers the week before, they did it on this side and he bounced, but that was Nick Bosa he was bouncing against. That's Von Miller right there. All right, so what we're talking about is when you see it from the end zone, should the tight end be blocking Von Miller? Yes, 100%, but they've got a safety in his gap. So when you're running a gap play, 89 is responsible for that gap, and he's got to step down. Problem is do you want Tyler Boyd blocking Von Miller? I don't know. I mean, you just do what you do, but they're going to go block down, block down, block down, block down, block down, block him, and you don't have anybody for him or him at this point. And if you watch this right here, he comes down and that's Von Miller. That's one of the best players in the history of football in all reality. And again, that's a fighting Texas Aggie, and I'm a little biased, but that's you've got Joe Mixon right there, one-on-one with Von Miller. Who you taking? Who you taking? I mean, come on. Who are you taking? Are you taking Joe Mixon? Are you taking Von Miller? And you know what happens here? Joe hits that accelerator. So if anybody who wants to say this cat right here ain't got it, you're wrong. That kid still got it, and he's going to run. Now, should he have stayed in bounds right here? Yes. But here's the thing. It didn't matter at this point. I guarantee, because watch him. I want you to watch him when he gets up. He knows he should have gotten down right here. Because when he runs out, watch the reaction he has. Like he knows right now he should have stayed down. But again, I mean, there's a lot of ankles being broken right there, and those are some pretty good ankles he's breaking right there. Again, I know he's coming off of ACL or an Achilles right there, but it's like, he's lucky he didn't get them broken again. So, but that's what I got for the offense. I just want to make sure everybody's understanding, man. This offense is rolling, man. I don't think anybody is disagreeing with me by any means that this offense is rolling, but this offense is going, and it's one of those things, man. It's fun to watch. It's fun to see them kind of coming into their own, and not necessarily just it's other people. It's not just like Chase and Burrow and all. It's all the guys, man. It's the tight ends. They're all coming alive. Now looking at the defense, so I'm gonna hit a few topics here. I'm gonna hit that intentional grounding, and I do want to talk about that because I think that was wrong. I know it's a Bengals related show, but football wise, man, that was not intentional grounding. And somebody said today, I saw it somewhere, they said intentional grounding means there needs to be intent. Well, there was no intent of him intentionally grounding that ball. He was throwing that ball. But anyway, it is what it is. It got called, and it went in Bengals' direction, so I think everybody here is going to be happy with that. So looking at the defense, so here's the intentional grounding. All right, and again, he's going to run a 9 stop up here, and he can either stop or he can go, and it's a choice route. So if this defender is on top of him like this, if he's too deep, he'll stop it. But if he's running here and this defender's below him, he'll keep going. Well, the problem is like when you see him right here, I believe if you stop it where he stops, they're kind of equal. And I think right now is Josh Allen thought, hey, I'm going to drop it right there. And if you look, this ball actually, there's no pressure. There's no pressure. So there's no intent to ground this ball. This is not an intent to ground this ball. And he throws this thinking, look, when the ball's in the air, this cat hadn't stopped yet. He has not stopped yet. He's thinking he's still running to go get this ball. Watch where this ball lands. You see where that on the 15-yard line roughly? I think landed on like the 12-yard line. So point being is that again, I know this went in the Bengals direction. I'm just talking football here, man. That is not intentional grounding. And for anybody to come on national television and defend that is intentional grounding, they don't understand the dynamics of offensive football. That guy hasn't even stopped yet, and the ball is like way in the air. So point being, and again, if that ever goes against the Bengals, I know all y'all are going to be losing y'all's mind over here, but I'm letting y'all know, like, you kind of got away with one right there, but at the same time, like, there's no pressure. There's no intent to ground it. I get it, man. It is what it is, but like that is not intentional grounding. And for that to be called is brutal. And I hate to see, a good game have something like that happen in it. And, anyway, I just had to get that off my chest, but that's not intentional grounding. The next one here. So tackling issues. So they're going to motion Diggs over here. Diggs is going to catch like a simple little bubble route here. And you haven't seen this show up as much recently, but right now depending on who's counting right now, there's about 5 missed tackles on this play. So you got 1 missed tackle, you got 2 missed tackles, you got 3 missed tackles, you got 4 missed tackles, you got 5 missed tackles, you got 6 missed tackles. I mean, it just depends on who's counting, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, the point being is like they're better than this, and I think this is just one of those kind of like, bad plays that shows up every once in a while. But again, that's a really good player. I get it, but that you can't allow fundamentals to because right here, DJ Turner right here he's got to make that play. He's got him wrapped up. You got 2 guys right here, really 3. I mean that play should be made. Like they should make that play. But anyway, I know they're stuff happens. It's one of those things, but it is what it is. And yes, Thom, I see your comment about they made up for one later. I actually have that one on here, so we'll talk about that. But this was the point of just there's times, man. I mean, I get it, but fundamentals. I mean, and I know they're well coached, man. Their defense is well coached, but that's one of those ones, man. It stuck out. I was like, holy crap, like that's not normal for a Bengals defense to allow that to happen. They'll get that fixed. Now, Josh Allen on the ground. I love this play, and I'm just going to throw this out there. That I know this play was a decent gain here, but this is kind of the college style stuff you're going to see. They're going to run the back over here, and they're reading this guy. So if this guy plays upfield, the quarterback's going to keep it. If this guy plays down, he's going to hand it off to the back. Well, they're going to double here, back to here, and they're going to block here, and they're actually going to pull both of these guys on the back side. So the quarterback's actually running behind that, and it's pretty cool right here because it's a good play. But you can see how Hendrickson plays up into the back right here. So the quarterback pulls the ball. Now he's following the second puller. That's the first puller. He's following the second puller. And it's a pretty cool design play. And really, honestly, like Logan Wilson plays this really well. I want you to watch Logan Wilson right here. He actually plays this really well. He gets over the top of the of that block right there and gets on him. I mean, there's a lot of linebackers that would have gotten just shielded off by him. If that linebacker shields him off right there, you got multiple guys coming around here to block, and it would have been one-on-one with him. But again, good job by Logan Wilson. But it's a well-designed play, and again, you only want to do this if you've got a quarterback that is a running back style quarterback. So, again, you can hand it off here and it becomes like a sweep if he decides to do that. If he goes up the field and he does that, then you pull it and you run over here. So it's a well-designed play. But again, Logan Wilson makes a really, really good play right here. And I know it's a decent gain, but could have been a lot worse, honestly, than it was. Now you look at a different one. Now this is what Josh Allen does really well, and you saw it on the touchdown, which I'll have the next play. But I want you to watch. He pump fakes. So there's times so he's scrambling here. So he's going to end up scrambling. And you're going to have like your back running kind of a Texas route here. You'll see him right here. He's going to pump fake that to hold. I believe it's Logan Wilson. And he's going to hold him. So you can see him right there. He pumps him. Now watch this. He's actually going to. There's the line of scrimmage is right there. He's actually going to be in this area right here, and he's going to try to pump fake. I believe it's Mike Hilton. And Mike Hilton didn't fall for it. Why didn't Mike Hilton fall for that? I think that's pretty good by Mike Hilton. He's past the line of scrimmage. I mean, come on, man. I'm not that dumb. You know what I'm saying? But maybe some people are. But you can see that's what Josh Allen does, and he does that pump fake. Like he's pump faking like he's going to throw to him to hold Logan Wilson. So at this point, yes, Logan Wilson needs to respect the fact that guy's going underneath. And then, but that punt fake, I don't know that much. But you can see right here, watch when he breaks the pocket, he kind of pump fakes here, holds Logan Wilson just enough. And then he tries to pump fake right here. But Hilton's smart enough to know he's past the line of scrimmage. So, he doesn't have to cover that guy anymore because he can't throw the ball. And the last one I got here, this is the touchdown. This is really a naked pass. They're really running a corner. They're slam flat in here, faking here, and they're running over routes, and he's nakeding over here. He really wants to throw that pass to the back of the end zone. If you watch him here, he's he really wants to throw that pass, but DJ Turner backs up just enough, and I think he's like, you can see he's still trying to throw it right here. He's really trying to throw that. This isn't just like a fake pump, but that pump right there, and this is where, you get him to jump right here, and then he points at him, and he ended up getting a flag for that. But again, that's really, in all reality, this is just a straight up naked bootleg, play right here. But he's really trying to throw this corner route back here. You can see, like, I'm actually kind of shocked he didn't hit him right there. But he held him, and then obviously you're going to get called for the taunting there. And, it is what it is. Now, the pass rush, this is the fun thing. This has been pretty cool here the last few weeks. This is Hendrickson's just going to bowl straight through this dude right to the quarterback. And, I mean, he's getting held here in all reality. If you watch this, I mean, he's getting held. I mean, that's a holding penalty if you've ever seen one right here, and I don't think they call it. Yep. See, you can see. I don't know if you can see my man down here. He's kind of off the screen right here, but there's a ref down here. There's a ref right here in this corner, and he's actually pulling his flag out, and he doesn't, because I think the reason he didn't is he saw that it was going to be, he thought it was going to be a sack. Now, this one right here, I mean, that's more of an intentional grounding than the one he got called. And that's not even the worst one. There's one that's worse than this. Is actually the next play. But, like, that's worse than that. That right there, if they called intentional grounding on that, I could almost say, okay, I get it. Went out of the pocket, didn't get to the line of scrimmage. I guess it did get to the line of scrimmage, but he still wasn't out of the pocket. And because maybe he's out of the pocket, but, I mean, it's close enough to say. But this one right here, now I want you to watch this. This is there's going to be 3 in a row here, 3 plays in a row. They're going to run a TE like this. They're going to run Hill's going to run up through this gap right here. And my man, it's not Hendrickson. I'm losing my mind. But anyway, he's 94 is going to come up here and go underneath. And right there, he's just, it's watch what happens to these tackles. And, Hubbard, thank you, Captain. Thank you, Sam Hubbard. I don't know why I could not remember that for the life of me. He was with me when I was there, and we drafted him while I was on the team. So, Sam Hubbard, I'm sorry if you're listening to this, buddy. I didn't mean that in any form or fashion. So, but I do want you to watch Hill right here runs up through this gap. Watch what 79 does. Remember I showed you earlier that Orlando Brown stepped back in and picked this up? They are not stepping back in to pick anything up. And right here, you got him coming scot-free. And then, look, you got him turned. Remember I told you about the butt camera? His butt camera's looking somewhere over here. His butt camera's looking at this ref over here. That's not a lot of butt cameras looking anywhere. Now, this one right here, that is not out of the pocket, and there ain't nobody there. That one right there, if you call called an intentional grounding, 100% I'd be like, cool. Like, that's intentional grounding. But let's go to the next play. So you just saw it. Let's play a little game here. Do you think that they knew that? Do you think that they knew something was up here? So they're going to do this, and Hubbard's going to come underneath. It's the same 2 guys. It's not like they're trying to hide it. It's the same 2 dudes. Now he gets through there. He kind of he gets through there. But again, it's one of those things where, yeah, he got through good. But watch. I want you to watch what they're doing here. They're going to go up through here, and he's going to come up under here. And I want you to watch these 2 cats right here and what they're getting done with these 2 guys. That's not covering it back up. Remember I told you earlier, I said when he comes out, he's got to step back in because he's going to come back. Well, 79's not doing it. Look, he's just coming and picking him right here and coming around because my man has no idea that he's going back under. Now, Josh Allen gets out. I get it, but it's the fact of that they're doing. Hey, guess what? I got one more. And if y'all want to see some Hill Hubbard stuff, we're gonna go there. We're gonna do that. Now, Am I just making this stuff up? Am I showing y'all the same play over and over? I'm not. Let me see here. Colton, random question. Do you think Jordan Battle starts to get more reps over Nick Scott at safety? You know what? Because I believe Nick Scott was the one that got pump faked on the touchdown run. So I mean, I haven't noticed him that much. So it's not that I could sit here and say yes or no, but I would say I think that position should probably be open, at least open for competition week to week. Excuse me. I mean, a cough in y'all's ear, man. I apologize. But, you know, I would say he did pick up a fumble. But you know what? I mean, here's the thing. Did he cause a fumble or did he pick up the fumble? Because when you pick up a fumble, you know, I drop a lot of things in my house and my 4-year-old picks them up. It doesn't mean that he was the one that knocked it out of my hands. Point being, yes, he could pick up a ball. Good. Didn't mean that is a shot at you, though. But that is the case. So, but looking at these pass rushes, this little TE stunt that they had going on here, I mean, come on, man. I mean, this is like right here. Watch what he does to this tackle. I mean, he spins this tackle around. I mean, that's not a position you want to be in if you're an offensive tackle. I don't care if your butt camera's looking at whatever. That's not the position you want to be in. And you can see here, see how he has his hand out? He's really supposed to be vertical setting. So really his body should be more in this area right here, setting straight back, putting that hand right here so that if he does go here, he can still break out. But if he sets here and he does this, he can set back in just like the Bengals were doing. Problem is he's setting on an angle out here with his hand out, which does you absolutely no good when you get turned around like that. So good job by the Bengals of figuring this out. And I mean, look at that. I mean, that's like it's not a fair fight. And the fact that they figured that out is pretty cool to see the pass rush stuff that they're doing. I just thought this was fun because we actually ran this play when we were in Detroit. So what they're going to do is they're going to run like an over route. Everybody here is going to run like outside zone here, and the tight end is going to try to sneak out right here. But the problem is the tight end right here, this tight end never gets out for Buffalo. They're going to hand the ball off right here. This guy's going to come back on a reverse, so they're going to flip the ball here. Quarterback's then going to step back. He's going to flip the ball back to the quarterback, and they're really trying to hit. In all reality, you're trying to hit this tight end. This tight end's like faking, and he's trying to go here. This guy's trying to clear out this guy and this guy. So that's what that route is for. And if you watch right here, like it didn't fake those two guys. Those two guys got him. Now, here's the guy that didn't get faked out. Is that guy right there. So watch. All of a sudden it's a reverse. You got your guys playing reverse. Cool. Go play reverse, but don't lose your coverage right here. And look, you got two guys covering that tight end. That tight end right there is the one that's trying to get out. I've coached this play. It's the same exact play. Purdue ran it. We actually called it Boilermaker at Detroit because we had David Blau was the backup quarterback who played at Purdue, and they actually ran it, and he brought us all the film for it. And but anyway, that's that's I thought that was a good job by the Bengals. I don't know if the Bills have run that play before. I know somebody tried to run this play. I don't know if it was against the Bengals or not, but and the Bengals may have tried to run it. But I know this is a very popular play in the league right now. So I will say this. And I think I showed it. I think I might have showed it actually a couple of weeks ago. When I was in Detroit, we actually hit that play. So the fact that that the Bengals are stopping it, I mean, good for them. So I thought that was kind of fun. Now pass coverage. All right, there's some good, there's some bad here. Okay, so I'm going to kind of preface that. So this is man coverage obviously up here, and this is Diggs right here. And what's going to happen is they're going to kind of run this guy by, and he's going to come out here, and I'm assuming that they've seen him break across his face. Because if you watch Mike Hilton's playing this as if he's trying to take this inside breakaway, and he does this little one step here, and then comes around, and that one step got him to hesitate, and that's what got him beat right there. I think a better throw, and again, I'm trying to be unbiased here, but a better throw here. Who knows? That might have actually scored on the Bengals right there if he gets a better throw. But you can see right that little bitty, and it just that's It's a tough route. I guess maybe that wasn't Diggs. Who was that? No, that was actually 10. But anyway, that point being is that it's the point of, he thought he was going to break it inside there. So now looking at the next one, this is a touchdown. This is just a stutter and go. So he's just going to right here and then go. And you can see right here, it got DJ Turner, who obviously is going to be a good player. Don't get me wrong. I think the kid's a really good player. And it's just sometimes when you've got one of the better receivers in the league on you, and he comes off and does that little stutter a little bit, and then it's just enough to, when you've got a good quarterback behind you who can put that ball where he needs to be putting it. You see Burrow do this all the time with Chase. So it's again they got him. It's something that it's going to happen every once in a while, especially when you're playing guys like this. You can see people. I know Bengals fans are all over them thinking that's he is what he is. But again, he's a good quarterback. That's a good receiver. Those are top notch, like Pro Bowl quarterback, Pro Bowl receiver right there. So, and that's on a young kid, and he's going to get better. Now, this is a 2-point conversion. So this is a play that a lot of teams will have, and I'm going to kind of diagram it real quick. They're going to motion him out, and he's going to run up here. So he's running to the flat. This guy right here is going to run to the corner. This guy right here is going to run kind of underneath and run to the flat over here. He's going to run across to the back pylon, and then Diggs is going to run back to the back pylon. And a lot of teams will call this crisscross. A lot of teams can, they might have, if you notice, there's somebody in the flat, there's two guys up here that are in kind of the back pylon area, and there's somebody in the back pylon area. And there's a lot of people crossing the field here. And you're hoping that you get lost in man coverage. And if you watch the Bengals, they're playing some version of man, but there's like a brackets man, but they're like passing guys off over here, and like the underneath guys are getting passed off. You can see the underneath guys are getting passed off, and they're kind of 2 over 2 over here, But they're doing a good job. But the problem is again, there's DJ Turner, and he's chasing Stephon Diggs, and Stephon Diggs comes right over here. Now, here's the issue that this is a really good throw, because if you look right here, you got a guy standing right there, and he throws it right over the top. It was a really good throw. But again, this is a man-beating route concept, and he could have thrown it over here and taken a chance to get in or whatever, but he went to his best receiver, and and again, can I explain why they went for 2? If they hit the extra point, it'd be a 7-point game. Here's the thing: there's a lot of analytics that say this is if you kick it and you tie it, the other team isn't in that big of a hurry to have to get yards. So what you're saying is, because if they give the ball back to the Bills and they're up 7, you can say they can score and kick the field goal and they still got overtime. But if you go for 2, you're putting it on the offense to have to, and if you convert, say you convert like they did, if you convert, you're putting it on offense to say we have to put it away. We can't kick it back to them because they can technically win it on a Hail Mary. And that's where the whole going for 2 when you're down 8 type of thing comes in. It puts pressure on the other team, and you're still only down 1 score. So if you go for 2 and you don't get it, yeah, you put yourself in a predicament, but you still got a chance to tie it and go to overtime if you do get the ball back. So it's taking a chance, but it's also putting more pressure on the other offense to produce and close out the game. So that's where that comes from. I saw a question here: should the linebacker have dropped more? Here's the thing: if you watch where he's at right here, if his eyes are looking at the quarterback. I'm not sure he necessarily feels that yet. And then when the ball's thrown, he knows right now the ball's being thrown over my head, so I got to get back. But his job really is more or less he's taking away anything right here in this middle area right here too. So, again, I would say half of the NFL is not making that throw or that catch right there. So, and again, my man here, we got to give love to the security guy here. Security guy, if you're watching this, hey, man, I hope you're okay. If you watch this from the end zone, my man takes a spill right here. Yeah, I feel bad for the guy there. I'm assuming he was okay. My man over here lost his camera, but, I mean, I feel more bad for the guy who fell down, but that was a heck of a play. Now, brackets coverage. So they're playing 3/2 up top. Okay, so you got two receivers here. So they're actually playing like 3/2. So those three guys are going to cover those two guys. And down here, you have one. You really have, they got two receivers, but he's going to cover him. He's going to cover him. So these underneath guys are taken care of. The running back and tight end. These two have their eyes on him. So they're playing a 3/2 up top and a 2/1 down bottom. And you can tell like Josh Allen's trying to get rid of the ball here. And again, the receiver just kind of finds that void right there just enough to where, he can get that ball off. But they brought another when you keep the guy low down here, it kind of keeps those two guys low and it keeps him high. And there is a void in there, and it just happened to be they found it. But I think the Bengals had the right idea here of trying to, multi-coverage and not just say we're playing cover 2, we're playing cover 3. We're actually going to, have a triangle over them, and we're going to basically have two guys over one over here. And puts some stress on those two guys underneath, but it's a good coverage concept for it. And I think they were doing a good job of trying to take away Diggs, take away some of those receiving threats, and then the front guys. Obviously, I've already talked about it. We're kicking butt up front. So now here's just a little coverage class here for you. So they're playing quarters. Okay, so they got 4 deep and 3 underneath. So if this guy's got that, he's got that, he's got that, he's got that. This guy right here has got this area, but he's also got the flat. This guy right here has got basically that entire area. This guy has this area, but he's also got the flat. So what happens is when you run a guy off, so let's just say this guy ran underneath. This guy wouldn't go deep. He would hang here. And if you ran out, that guy would take him over. But the second you run a guy deep, well, that's his area, so he's got to go. And this has nothing to do with anything. I just want to talk a little football tonight. As I was watching this, and if you see here, there's vulnerabilities in cover 4. In cover 4, it's that area right there, and it's that area right there, and it could technically, if you ran him here and him here, it could be that area right there. But as you see, they ran him deep, and he had to take him, and then they ran a quick out right here, and that's why that was open. And again, that's just a little football talk for you there. It doesn't mean anything. I think it was good coverage by the Bengals. It was good, it was good coverage. I mean, he didn't get him tackled, but that's the reason why. Good job by the Bills. But again, when you have quarters like this and you run out, he's actually technically trying to cover him. Now, why would you want to throw to this guy and not this guy? That's the next question. That right there, I believe, is Mike Hilton. That's a defensive back. That's a little fast guy. That right there is Jermaine Pratt. Not that he's not fast, but you might have your out route on a linebacker as opposed to an out route on a defensive back. So just a little football for you there. Neither here nor there. Now, last play I got here. This is an attempted hole shot by this is the interception right here, and you'll see right here they're playing cover 2. So when you play cover 2, your corner is playing cloud. So your corner is really responsible for the flat area up here. And what's going to happen is, though, they're going to play this like it's, people might call it trap. People call it poach, things like that. So he's going to kind of come over here. Well, if nobody really comes out, see how he doesn't really run out? If this guy right here would have run out, he would have had to have played down a little bit. But that guy didn't run out. So he can cover that guy. Well, what happens is when that happens, he starts to feather back, and he kind of can play both areas right here. And Allen right here, I don't think this was a good read by him. I don't know if he expected him to come down. Maybe this guy was supposed to run out. I don't know, but again, right there, I don't think that's a very good read. And you can even see, look at his reaction right there. He's like, See, he even knows he threw a bad ball. He knows he made a bad read right there. And good play. I mean, again, Cam Taylor-Britt's a good player, and I mean he did what he was supposed to do, but that's why, if you're wondering like what they were trying to do, I think if he does run out, it holds him down, and he can fall into that hole shot right there. But in this case, because he didn't run out, he probably should just, at this point, just thrown it to my man right here. And good for the Bengals that he made a bad decision. So, but that's why that happened on the interception. And again, right here they're really in a max coverage. So we talked about max protection a little while ago. So they're playing Tampa to max. So he's got that. He's here. He's really dropping in that little hole area. So you got 8 guys in coverage right here. So that's a max pro or max coverage whenever you see a 3-man rush right here. So that'd be a max coverage as opposed to a max protection when the offense has 7 or 8 guys blocking. A max coverage would be 7 or 8 guys. 8 guys. I'm sorry, 8 guys or more in coverage. So that would be what that would be called. So. I hope that made sense. I just want to talk a little ball there, just because that's what I do. It's kind of fun to talk some ball. I do appreciate everybody coming in the chat tonight. Looking forward. Obviously, the Bengals, 5-3 right now. They're still a crazy thing. They're still the last place team in the AFC North right now, but they are in the playoffs if the playoffs began today, which shows you the depth of the AFC North. Which is pretty crazy. But I don't think anybody's looking at the Bengals as being the last place team in the North right now. I think everybody's looking at them as what they are. But they do have the Houston Texans. And the Houston Texans just had an amazing comeback. I actually watched the game almost in entirety the other day versus Tampa Bay. And, I mean, C.J. Stroud's playing as good a ball as you're going to find from a rookie right now. And the fact that he's come back to Ohio and – has history in the state and everything and all that. But it's one of those things. I think they're just going to have to be ready to play, and the defense is going to have to step up because their offense is rolling right now. Their offense is playing really well. I think the Bengals offense will put up some points too. So, it's one of those things. They got to keep up with the division, man. I mean, there's some teams playing each other. I believe Cleveland's playing Baltimore this week. Teams are going to start beating up on each other. That it's going to get to that point where teams are beating each other. So. As long as the Bengals can stay in contention and keep winning what they're doing, they're going to be a force to reckon with coming soon because, I mean, they're starting to get it all put together. I do appreciate everybody that showed up tonight. And, again, if you can get the word out, please get the word out about the show, social media, liking it, subscribing to Chatterbox Sports. And, I appreciate Casey. Casey's in the background. I know Reed does a lot of things too to get the show prepared. But I do appreciate all you guys back at Chatterbox, Trace, Thom, all those guys, everybody. And, we'll continue to be here. But we are going to move this to 5:30 every Tuesday now. So it's not at 9 p.m. anymore. We're going to be 5:30 p.m. Every Tuesday. And looking forward to seeing you here every Tuesday on your drive home from work. And then, again, please spread the word, and we'll see you next week.